All right. Um, I'm walking you through Microsoft Office, right? And this is just an introductory class. Yeah. So basically, for Microsoft Office, we have Microsoft Word. We also have um, Microsoft Excel, and we have Microsoft PowerPoint, and also OneNote. So I'll be walking you through what this stuff looks like. So basically, the course overview is divided into four. So we have Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. So what do we use Microsoft Word to do? We use Microsoft Word for word processing and document creation, while Microsoft Excel is for data analysis and visualization, while PowerPoint we use that for present presentations and multimedia, while OneNote is for actually note taking in an organization. So now let's talk about Microsoft Word. It's actually a word processing tool, and this is actually what we use for reports. We use it for manuals and letters and stuff like that. Yeah. So what do we use Microsoft Word for? Number one, document creation. We used to create professional letters, reports, and forms with rich formatting. We also have advanced formatting. You want to table of contents and the likes. Collaboration tools also is also a collaboration. So it's also used for mail merge, right? And it also has a macros and automation. So let me walk you through it. So for the styles and templates, table of contents, track changes, mail merge, smarter than charts, macros and VBA. So basically, this is actually the advanced features of Microsoft Word. What everyone knows Microsoft Word to do is actually to actually type. Basically, yeah, we use Microsoft Word to type, and that's what the layman actually used to type documents. Basically, yeah, and but in the advanced areas, you might begin to use Microsoft Office for a lot of advanced things like automated table of content. That's for your project or your report, citation, and the likes. But for a beginner, at least you should know how to use Microsoft Word to type, basically. Yeah. So we have Microsoft Excel. But meanwhile, before I go into Microsoft Excel, I'll also talk about that a little bit. I'll just show you guys the interface of Microsoft Word and what it looks like. So basically, if your system does not come with Word, you might have to go and activate Microsoft Word in your system, right? So this is how Microsoft Word looks like, basically. So this is all. Let me just walk you through the basic features of Microsoft Word. So here we have file, right? So you click on file to show you this, but let's talk about insert. So for example, let's go back to home. Home is actually where you have, for example, here you can actually change your fonts. We have different kinds of fonts here, different kind of fonts. We have the Calibri, we have the Arial Black, we have the a lot of fonts. Times New Romans, which is very popular, right? So we also have if you're on board, right? For example, let us say um my name is Precious Adesoya, right? So when you put your cursor on it, you highlight basically. But if you want to highlight everything, Control A is to highlight everything. So you get Control C is to copy, Control V is to paste. So when you copy using Control C, you can come and paste it here using Control V. So you can keep pasting. And changing the font is can change. You can start use this to Area Black. So you get this, change it to. So basically, if you want to work on your CV, you want to um write a letter for something, stuff like that, use Microsoft Word basically, yeah. So another thing you need to know, Control E is for central alignment, right? So Control X is to delete. When you highlight something and you press Control X, you will delete it, right? So, but if you press Control Z back, you can bring it back. So probably you are working on Microsoft Word and you automatically delete something, you can bring it back. And one other thing you need to understand is that Microsoft Word is an offline app. It is an offline app. That means you actually need to have your data, right? To actually like work with Microsoft Word. You don't need to have your data on to work with Microsoft Word. It's an offline app. So that's something you actually need to also take note of, right? So it's actually on like Google Sheets and all those online apps. This is offline app. So and that's also something that is working in Microsoft Word. You must ensure that you save your document, and to save is just Control S. So you save your document, you have a name to save the document. Let's say we are saving this as this, right? Which can be edited, right? So let's say you save it so that while working, it depends on if your let's say a laptop or you're using a monitor, you actually need to press Control X frequently, right? So that your document will save, right? So basically, and this is when you highlight your text and press Control B, it will actually automatically be bold, right? So that's Control B is for like bold, basically, yeah. So one other thing, so bring it back. So I hope we are cool on this, right? So let me walk you through something else. This is if you press Control U is to underline, you press Control Z to bring it back. You get the idea now. So um this one is just italics to just make it slant. That's the italics, right? And we have no spacing and we have normal. So for normal, there will actually be space between the two words, but for no space, you are trying to close up the space. But most times, for example, if you are working on a project that's an academic thesis, right? You have to use um the normal spacing. And meanwhile, they actually like also, when you say control two, that's two line spacing, right? So this is one spacing, this is two spacing, control two, right? And these are just very interesting things you should actually like try also. So for insert, this is where you can actually insert tables. You can insert your tables, right? So you can insert your tables or actually you can actually just give the dimension of table here if you click on insert. And don't forget, we're talking about rows, you're talking about columns. Rows are horizontal while columns are vertical. So we're saying four columns, columns are vertical, you're saying six rows. You know what it's going to do like that. So you're going to have four. And don't forget, rows are horizontal while columns are vertical. And okay, let's go back to insert. We're just playing around basically, right? So in case you want to push shapes, there are a lot of shapes here. You click on the shape and you used to draw basically, right? So you can fill up the shape. So just something you should actually just try, just play around it with it. It's very easy to use. And this place, if you want to actually watermark your document, and watermarking is just for you to this is normal watermarks. These are our custom watermarks, and watermarking is just to ensure that you know people don't actually just duplicate your effort. You don't say it's actually, people watermark with the name of their company, with their own name, and you can see you want to give a watermark color. So I'm giving red, for example. You can see, so my document is watermarked now, so nobody will just like photocopy it or something. You get so page colors. You want to change your page color to something else. You want to, so it's actually just a very a very cool app. Maybe you're a writer, you want to write, you want to create your own book. Microsoft Word is actually just the best tool for you, right? Okay, so this is references, margins, orientation. This orientation is just basically, what we have what we call portrait, we have what we call landscape. Yeah. So this document, for example, is in the portrait mode. You don't change to landscape, you change that using the orientation. So basically now this is on the landscape mode, and you can see the shape already. Okay. So these references this is for advanced stuffs, but it's just cool anyways. So I think I think we have explored this a little bit. Trust me, this was an introductory video. My next video is going to touch it a little bit, and we'll move from there. So let me go back to the explanatory slide. So basically, what is Microsoft Excel? See, one thing I love about Microsoft Excel is that it's a very powerful tool. A very powerful tool for your spreadsheet and data analysis basically. So one thing the Microsoft Excel does, it's number one is spreadsheet management. Organize the data into rows and columns, your formulas and functions, your pivot tables, your chart and graphs, your Power Query, are all embedded in Microsoft Excel. This is actually a very powerful tool for data analysts, financial modelers, and so one beautiful thing about Excel, at least basic thing everybody needs to understand about Excel, is that Excel it's composed of rows and column. And I'll just walk you through the interface of Excel very soon, and I hope you enjoy it. But trust me, my next video I'll be concentrating on Excel. In my next video, what I'll be talking about the Excel formulas, and just going to be a nice ride on that. I'll be exploring the major formulas in Excel in my next video, and I feel you should watch that. Microsoft Excel advanced features, yeah. So XLOOKUP, pivot tables, conditional formatting. So in my subsequent videos, I'll still be doing that, but I'll be walking you through the Microsoft Excel app now. So whereby we'll actually be dealing with some basic formulas in my next video and all that. But let me just show you the interface of Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel, you can see it's almost looking like the Microsoft Word, but this is different now, right? Why? Because this it's actually like it's composed of um you know your rows and columns and stuffs, right? So it's composed of your rows and column. You can see it's this same thing I talked about in the Microsoft Word, the bold, uh um the fonts and the stuffs like that. We have insert here. This is where you get your chart, your pivot table, your maps and stuff like that, your slicers, and subsequent videos you begin to get understanding on how to use it and all that. And I feel with that we'll be on the same page. Okay, I think this my next video I'm concentrating on Excel, so don't worry, it's something you're going to get. So and you're going to enjoy it. So let me just go back to my slide again. And in this Microsoft PowerPoint, for example, this slide I'm sharing is designed on Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft PowerPoint is actually a very powerful app for slide design, for animation and transition, for multimedia integration and presenter view. So it's actually a very just powerful app for presentation. And for you to present, you actually design your slides, basically the colors, the themes, the layout, and trust me, I'll be making videos also on how to actually create slides using PowerPoint, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy that too. But let us move to this next one. And this is the advanced features of PowerPoint, the slide masters, your advanced animation, your morph transition, and embedded. But basically, for a basic person that's just trying to use Microsoft PowerPoint in the early periods, you just need to concentrate on about slide design. And I actually have a video I'll be explaining on slide designs. Yeah, I'll be explaining colors. I'll be explaining how to just get your way around colors, get your way around stuffs, and that. Yeah. So let me just show you how the Microsoft PowerPoint interface looks like. Right, it's very cool app. So right, this is a very interesting app. It's a very interesting app. For example, let's say I type my name. Okay, addition are precious. You can see that. You know, It's very interesting app whereby you can you add colors, you can fill the shape, you can add colors, you can transition, you can stuff like that. But trust me, subsequent video is something like but for the layout, it's just the same as the Microsoft tool. You have shapes, you have stuffs, your insert, you have shapes, you have but Starting just to ensure you just you know when you create slides finish, there are actually even simple design template that comes with Microsoft PowerPoint. But meanwhile, you might have to just do something very crazy and you be like, oh, I need to have my idea, I need to design it myself and stuff like that. Just it's just like the slides I'm presenting now is something that you can't get that kind of template right on Microsoft PowerPoint directly. So you can see this is design. I can see if you observe something about my colors, you see that my colors are designed according to the app. You can see when I was talking about Excel, on my side were green. Why? Because Excel is green. That's a green look. See again. When I was talking about Microsoft Word color is blue, and you can see that I actually used blue or two. When I was talking about PowerPoint, you can see I'll use red. Why? Because you look at PowerPoint, it's actually red. Do you get the idea now? And this is Microsoft OneNote. Um, this one is actually very easy. It's just like this. It's not like an app that people actually never use, but this one is just for your own personal documentation most times, right? It's just like your notepad on your phone. You want to jot something down, you want to and stuff like that, draw or sketch or something like that. So, my next video, I'll just be going into Excel formulas and um, I'll walk you through the major formulas. I know with that we should have a proper understanding, your phone and all that. Yeah.